When I was a kid, I always saw Dragon Ball as being appropriate for younger viewers. I mean, Kai aired on Nicktoons. It was on the same channel as most of the shows I watched back then. But nowadays, even though I heard that version was censored, I cannot believe they let that happen. Because being an adult going through the manga for the first time, one thought that consistently stayed in the back of my mind was this 100% would have given me nightmares as a kid. I'm sure most of you are aware of why Dragon Ball Z would have developed some very unwanted childhood trauma, but what about original Dragon Ball? I mean, that's the goofy one, right? No. Well, yes, but no. One of my favorite things about this story is how it slowly develops from being funny and unserious into the excessively violent and oftentimes bleak world of Dragon Ball Z. And we're already there, more or less. This is a part 2 video, and last we left Goku, he kicked a grenade into the air that blew a dude to smithereens, and then he decimated an entire army by himself. And next up is a brand new episode of SpongeBob, ladies and gentlemen. What's airing after that? I am so glad you asked. It is the subscribe button. Click it. But yeah, let's continue on our journey because it's only going to get crazier from here. And hopefully I'll answer all those questions I posed in the first video. By the way, how many Dragon Balls have we collected so far? I actually forgot. But anyways, that's 6 Dragon Balls in our possession. Oh, okay, thank you. The last one unfortunately isn't being picked up by the Dragon Radar, so its whereabouts are unknown. Fortunately, Roshi, who's been around the block a few million times, knows a fortune teller who can sniff out its location no problem. So what's the catch? Well, she'll either do it for $10 million, or you and your buddies can survive a gauntlet of 5 champions and she'll do it free of charge. Which of course means that Yamcha is about to get humiliated again. But honestly, Krillin probably gets it worse this time as Count Dracula, the world-renowned kickboxer, bites into his head and he goes out like a bitch. But his intellect, I feel a little weird calling it that because the plan he comes up with is so freaking stupid. Whatever he has going on in that big beautiful brain of his, it makes up for it. Because Yamcha's opponent is invisible, so in order to reveal him, Krillin has Goku bring Roshi and Bulma over to the arena, then he exposes Bulma's chest, Roshi gets a nosebleed, coating the opponent in his blood, and now he's like visible. Just a reminder in case you forgot, the original Dragon Ball is very stupid. Anyways, Yamcha gets throat chopped by a mummy, falls into a pit of acid and dies. Then it's Goku's turn, who now gets to show off his newfound strength in a one-on-one fight. I love how effortless his stance looks here and how the mummy commentates that even though he looks so nonchalant right now, he has 0 openings. He takes the mummy's abuse just because he can and then knocks him out cold in one blow. Rad. The next fight is against the devil. Wait, the what? Dude has a super death laser that just instantly kills anyone it touches because it inflates the evil in their hearts until they burst. But it doesn't affect Goku because you know why. So yeah, Goku's feeling pretty damn strong right now, and just as I was starting to get tired of him destroying everything in his path, he gets humbled by his own grandfather. This was the ace up the fortune teller's sleeve, a warrior from Otherworld, aka the Afterlife, Grandpa Gohan. I love that he of all people is the one who puts Goku back in his place for 2 reasons. One, it calls back to Roshi's lesson in the Tenkaichi Budokai. There's always a bigger fish, one who will expose your weaknesses and force you to strengthen them. And in this case, that fish is from Roshi's generation. The old masters can still stand up to this kid, at least for now, and that's cool to see. Plus the part where Gohan throws Goku up into the air then like jumps up faster than him so he can bicycle kick him down to the ground is so cool. By the way, Emperor Pilaf is watching this fight, but he's like just GT stuff at this point, so we're not even going to talk about him. He drives a Mercedes for some reason. Second reason is I just kind of wanted to see these two talk again. Goku killed the guy and didn't even realize it. There definitely weren't any goodbyes, so it's nice to just kind of see that closure. Seeing Goku catch him up on the story so far and the way he's like super proud of his grandson, it's nice. So Goku beats up the stupid Power Rangers robot that the Pilaf gang has, and he summons Shinhan to bring Upa's dad back. I like how Goku just snatches the 4-star ball out of the air as the Dragon Balls all disperse. Okay, who am I kidding? Screw this arc. because the next one is a Budokai. 3 years have passed, our characters are looking older and cooler. Goku swam halfway around the planet to get here because he's stupid. We see this Cobra Kai looking ass rival martial arts group for Roshi's crew. And of course, Jackie Chun is entering the tournament once again. Not really to teach any lessons, this guy just can't stand the thought of losing to his own pupils at this point. I respect it. What I don't respect is this three-eyed dude coming up to talk smack. And while he does look just like a generic bully right now, put a little respect on his name. This is Tien Shinhan, or just Tien, and he's cool as hell, but it takes him a little bit to get there. Also, I take back all the mean things I said about Lunch. Her firing a gun off into the air so they can get better seats is really funny. So I find myself at a bit of a loss when it comes to describing the fight choreography here, because I feel like I'll just be repeating myself. It's electric, exciting, and well-paced action, just like the last Budokai, but even better thanks to even stronger combatants and a better story than just, this guy smells bad. The rivalry Tien develops with Goku is established early on as he breaks Yamcha's leg during their match, setting them on a collision course for the finals. It's hilarious as this werewolf guy has a grudge against Jackie Chun because when he destroyed the moon, it like stuck him in his werewolf form forever. And to be fair, he could have had it worse. Never forget the Rabbit Gang. Tien's master begins to lose whatever mercy he had left when he finds out that Goku defeated Lao, who's actually his brother, and he calls out for Chaozu to kill Krillin in the middle of their match. But little does he know, Krillin is invincible and impossible to kill, and he uses his big boy brain to learn the Kamehameha on the fly and counter Chaozu's Dodon Blast. Even when Chaozu starts using psychic powers, Krillin is quick on his feet and starts feeding him math problems to overload his brain and take him out. Like, that's our Krillin, dude. Anyways, Goku's opponent sucks, and once again serves to show just how strong this new generation of fighters led by Goku is becoming. Succession is a big theme in Dragon Ball, and it's a great way to pay off the readers for sticking around. You know what else talks about Succession a lot? Clanad. I rest my case. But I guess I'll continue because I did write more words down about this. The characters change drastically as you continue to observe them, and with time, every milestone they hit feels just as special to you as it does to them. It's simple but effective storytelling utilized to great effect here, laying the foundation for so many more shonen to come. But focusing back in on this one, that outburst that Tien's master has leads into Roshi's plea for Tien to use his great strength for good, rather than following this evil bitch. And to prove his faith in this new generation of potential heroes, the invincible old master jumps out of the ring and forfeits. Tien catches up to him after the match and asks him why he did it, and Roshi replies that Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, even Tien seem to be doing just fine. They have the spirit and capability to become way stronger than him or the old Crane Master ever will be. And then he leaves Tien with this burning question. If he was really dead set on walking down the path of villainy, why even talk to Roshi at all? This whole idea of the next generation taking over is then expanded, as the final two bouts place its three frontrunners against each other. Goku vs. Krillin is an all-time classic. Goku's exceptional technique and intuition clashes with Krillin's adaptability and intelligence, making for a wonderful display of superhuman martial arts craziness. God, this is so fun to read. Obviously, Goku comes out on top though, and our final battle begins as the sun sets on this goofy era of Dragon Ball, although we don't exactly know that yet. By the way, take note that Roshi tells Krillin to observe the match closely because he may never see one like it again. I'm willing to bet that most people saw that as some kind of throwaway line and ignored it. I love the amount of control that Goku exhibits and like conserving energy to have for later. He really is a genius at this stuff. And Tien finally crosses over to the right side with his powerful scream for his master and Chaozu to stop cheating for him. Now that they can fight with no restrictions, Tien does some crazy shit like gaining extra arms and using like the Tri-Beam, which destroys the arena and almost kills Goku. The conclusion is thrilling because with no arena, technically everywhere is out of bounds, so whoever lands first loses. Goku ends up touching first through little more than dumb luck. But even so, his loss once again created the idea in my mind that there is always a bigger fish, and created anticipation for one day where he might actually win the tournament. Then they go to dinner like they did last time, and it's like, okay, it's basically a tradition at this point, nothing really important or crazy happens here. Like, you know, Krillin goes to get Goku's 4-star Dragon Ball for him, then he's killed by this monster that like shakes Roshi to his very core when he finds out who's responsible. Yeah. Remember when I said that Dragon Ball wasn't going to be goofy anymore? This is now super serious. Everyone has their game face on, and Goku is pissed. Because somewhere out there in the world is the demon responsible for Krillin's murder, the Great King Piccolo. A horrible monster who recently broke out of his eternal prison within this rice cooker. I didn't say it would be 100% serious from now on. Now, King Piccolo is pretty sick. Dude gives birth to super strong warriors by throwing up eggs, and he's no slouch in the ring himself. Goku, who's super hungry after finishing the tournament, is no match for even one of Piccolo's sons, Tambourine. He's the guy who killed Krillin, and after he destroys the flying Nimbus 2 and knocks Goku back down to Earth, you can tell that Toriyama is savoring his ass kicking for when it'll be the most rewarding. So as he goes off to kill all the martial artists who participated in the Budokai so that no one can seal Piccolo away again, Goku runs into Yajirobe, this big dude with a sword who for a protagonist is like refreshingly rude and antisocial, if that makes any sense. I mean, I guess Bulma and Lunch can be mean-spirited too, but this guy's just kind of a poophead, what with his sharp tongue and selfish actions, while still being a pretty good fella at the end. Plus, he plays off of Goku extremely well. Yajirobe kills Symbol, one of Piccolo's sons, which attracts the attention of Tambourine, and when Goku sees him, oh good lord. We get one of my favorite combat sequences in the entire manga. Goku creates after images of himself to confuse him, then he elbows him in the jaw, catches him, then unleashes a flurry of punches, knocks him back again, and gives chase. Then he like jumps off the side of a cliff, kneeing him in the back of the head, sending him careening down to the ground to eat a nice steaming pile of shit. This is what I'm talking about with the fights. They just awaken your inner barbarian, and you can't help but make all the sound effects in your head while you're reading. Absolutely excellent stuff. So Goku kills Tambourine with his Kamehameha, and you know, it just occurred to me, characters die now. I mean, I know they did before, General Blue and Upa's father are good examples, but now it happens like all the time. We aren't even halfway through this arc and Krillin, the Gum Dragon guy, and 2 of Piccolo's kids have already bit the dust. Speaking of Piccolo, he's here now and Goku is just no match for him. Being carried off by Yajirobe, Goku goes to the only place he knows where he can get the help he needs, Korin Tower. But more importantly, Roshi tries to seal Piccolo back into the rice cooker. He barely misses and dies. Then Piccolo summons Shinhan and kills Chaozu when he tries to steal his wish. He gets his wish of becoming young again and thus exponentially more powerful, then he kills Shinhan. Oh my god, this guy is a fucking menace. Of all the bad guys we've seen so far in this story, this dude takes the freaking cake and sets the standard for imposing, powerful Dragon Ball villains going forward. That's something great about this arc. Here's something not so great. Remember the first time Goku climbed Korin Tower and I talked about how earned his training felt? How I was worried that the magic water was just gonna power him up for free and that'd be the end of it? Well, it turns out that this ultra divine water is real and Goku drinks it. What the hell, dude? Interestingly enough, the chapter for this part of the story has a cover page of Akira Toriyama all sick, along with some text saying that he caught the flu and he apologizes if the story is bad in this chapter. I mean, he was probably planning on doing this already, so it's not an excuse, I just thought it was pretty funny. By the way, Toriyama, I hope you're feeling better after 36 years. Also, I don't care that the water was basically poison and Goku lied around dying for 6 hours only to awaken with newfound strength. That's still a cop-out for me. Like, dude, I caught COVID and laid around in agony for a week. Where's my newfound power? This scene is juxtaposed with Tien actually putting in the work to learn the spell to seal Piccolo away, which is just kinda like the cherry on top of this poop sundae. But Piccolo's diabolic ability, I should really have someone write these scripts for me is what brings it back. Dude is like, look, the world is split into 43 provinces, right? Okay, I'm gonna draw a number out of this bucket, and the province that corresponds with said number gets glassed. We're playing genocide bingo now, and the first place to go is the United States. Yeah, sorry, that was just some green screen trickery on my part. I'm actually overseas right now, so the show will go on even though I don't have a home to go back to. So Piccolo creates another son named Drum, who Tien fights and almost loses to, until Goku shows up and with one kick disintegrates his head. So he's gotten a little stronger. Goku vs King Piccolo is really good. The biggest praise I can give it is it's one of the longer fights we've seen so far. And while you might say meh pacing, I'm just ecstatic that I get to enjoy more of Toriyama's fight choreography, and that's all I really gotta say. The panel where Goku barrels through Piccolo's stomach is god tier and a great way to send him off, but not before he throws up one last egg containing someone we'll be seeing a lot of in the future. Plus we get a glimpse of the great ape as Goku does that whole murdering thing, which is kinda interesting. And now that that's over with, we're back to our regularly scheduled Korin Tower Deus Ex Machina bullshit. But this time I'm not so sour on it because it's so ridiculous, cool, and funny. Korin's like, oh geez man, Shinhan is dead? Well, you're just gonna have to talk to the dude who invented the Dragon Balls. Okay, so who made the Dragon Balls? God. God made the Dragon Balls. Go find God and talk to him. I like how Goku's power pole is the key to reaching Kami's lookout. It definitely wasn't planned to be used like this from the start, but it's a funny idea and gives utility to something that we haven't really seen used too much outside of the King Piccolo fight. Plus, this is the best panel in the manga where Goku just says, alright, I'm off to see God, don't cremate anyone's bodies, okay? I feel like you could cut just this part of the panel out and have like the perfect reaction image. Let's keep this positive momentum going. When Goku reaches the lookout, he finds not God, but more like God's secretary. He's a super chill and cool dude who actually corrects a big mistake that was made in the last arc and... What the fuck, dude? So, putting aside his appearance, Mr. Popo is a great character who gets Goku's training back on track. The guy wastes too many movements, so he needs to be humbled and re-educated. Hell yeah, classic Dragon Ball. Kami-sama himself adds a lot of interesting lore to the world as he's basically just half of King Piccolo who took over for God while he was on sick leave. I'd like to talk more about Goku's training, but it's over as soon as it begins. As 3 years just kinda pass at the turn of a page, and it's time for the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. Dragon Ball pacing, man, it makes this video look coherent. Goku is looking like he's finally old enough to wear that drip jacket. Piccolo Jr, or just Piccolo as I'll be calling him from now on, is here, and so is everyone else. Including this girl who Goku doesn't recognize, which she takes very personally. So personally that she beats the shit out of everyone in her preliminary pool just so she can have a match with Goku. She's the Michael Jordan of tsunderes, and that's why she's the GOAT.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
More personal beef comes to light as Tao is still alive, and he wants Tien and Goku to be a lot more hurt than they are right now because this tournament has a no-kill rule. Tien wrecks his shit, and when Tao tries to turn this tournament into a live leak video, he gets shown up even more. Tien is just amazing, and this is another classic Toriyama show the reader how far they've come moment. Also, Krillin and Yamcha are food for Piccolo and this weird old dude. Plus, Yajirobe gets knocked out in the preliminaries, like, what a dork, can you imagine? So anyways, Goku gets married. This girl is actually Chi-Chi from all the way back on Frypan Mountain, and she's here to collect on when she fooled Goku into promising her that he'd marry her. I love how Goku doesn't put nearly as much thought into this decision as he should. He's like, ah, phooey, I guess I did promise, looks like we're married now. God, Goku just seems so nice and fun, I want to be his friend so bad. Anyways, Krillin does a pretty damn good job against Piccolo, but is unfortunately defeated. And Yamcha gets humiliated, then has a pretty decent comeback against this old dude, but ultimately loses. I'd like to say this is another Yamcha sucks moment, but this old man is actually Kami-sama in disguise, and Yamcha's fireball move was actually pretty sick, so I'll let it slide. Now, Goku versus Tien. That scene where Goku takes off his weighted clothing is one of the best reveals in the history of manga. I do not care, your favorite is worse than this. Toriyama is proving time and time again with this tournament that he's a genius when it comes to slowly revealing how strong a character has become. And to build up to the final fight, Kami tries to use the spell to seal away Piccolo. But the dude freaking reverses it and traps Kami in a bottle instead. The body he borrowed then wakes up and then his son says like, "Oh dad, you're so cool and strong," like it's adorable. But anyways, the stakes are set. If Goku doesn't win here, it's gonna be World Domination City all over again. The tension rising along with my excitement, Dragon Ball's final battle begins. It's so good. It is so fucking good. I read it again 4 times while writing this part because it's just that good, and I have a procrastination problem, but let's not talk about that. Basically combine everything good I said about all the fights so far and combine them all into one super fight, and you have this throwdown of the century. It has spectacle, gorgeous choreography ripe with visceral brutality, not to mention exceptional characterization. Toriyama is all like, what's the most insane, impressive stuff I can have these characters do to knock the reader's socks off time and time again? Goku's initial bicycle kick, Piccolo's death beam, the super Kamehameha, the gigantic transformation, Goku's ploy to get Kami back, the Kamehameha from the feet, them moving faster than Kami can even see, Piccolo ripping off his arm and growing a new one, Goku blocking this discount final flash, and the way Goku stops any of his friends from helping him out because it would get him disqualified. He somehow doesn't see this as a life and death, world-threatening situation at all. He's a selfish martial artist who revels in the challenge of a great opponent above all else. And while he's a freaking moron for thinking that way, I can't help but deeply respect his commitment to this personal principle. In fact, he's so dedicated that even with a hole in his chest and 3 limbs broken, he still says, "Don't help, I'm going to win this fair and square." And he does. And as our final send-off to this era of Dragon Ball, Goku spares Piccolo because he doesn't want Kami to die and wants the Dragon Balls to stay around. But most importantly, he doesn't want to say goodbye to his strongest rival just yet. He also says no to being a god, you know, as you do, then rides off with Chi-Chi into the sunset. What a journey, dude. And we're not even halfway through it. Now, because Dragon Ball is so different from Z, I'm gonna be giving the one-word summary for both of them. If I had to pick one for this story, I think it'd be captivating. Its strongest attribute by far is its easy pick up and read nature. The lightning fast pacing, the crisp, clear drawings that flow into each other effortlessly, the simple, lighthearted storytelling that evolves into something more as time goes on. It's far from a mindless read, but it's certainly a comfortable one. Combine that with the stellar world building and what is, in my opinion, the most charming art style in anime history, and you have a manga that I wouldn't mind going back to and rereading right now, even though I just read it. Yeah, some of the villains are bad, some of the jokes and characters are outdated, some plot developments actively work against the narrative, but in spite of all of these things, Dragon Ball remains an exciting journey that everyone should take at least once in their lives. It's as iconic as it is geriatric. And it's one elder that more than deserves your respect. Hi, thanks for watching this long-ass video. A special thanks to Silent Secondary, Mr. Chocolate Salmon, and the rest of my wonderful patrons.